All right, what's up? I'm gonna do a in-cab inspection. First thing first you wanna do is tell your instructor, can you put your seatbelt on as you put your seatbelt on as well. Safety first. Next, you wanna make sure your seatbelts connect at 3 points of contact. You got your upper, your lower, and your side. So for your upper, you're gonna say my upper seatbelt it's not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. Your lower is not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. Your side is not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. Then you want to talk about your seatbelt. You're gonna say, my seatbelt is not worn, torn, frayed, or cut. It's securely mounted. It's adjusted to my preference. And then you're gonna say it latches, and unlatches freely. You're gonna demonstrate everything in the cab that's operational. You want to show that it's operational. So next, I'm going to talk about my seat. My seat is not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. Then you're going to talk about your safety first. So you're going to say, I have my fire extinguisher, which is not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. The pin is in place and it's at operational level, which means that it's in the green or it's or that it's full. And I believe the fire extinguisher is ABC fire extinguisher or BC 10. Those are the fire extinguishers that you can have in the vehicle. All right, next you're going to talk about, after you get your seatbelt and stuff, you're going to do your oh yeah, you want to make sure your vehicle's in neutral and your brakes should already be, when you get to this point, your vehicle your wheels should be chopped, your brakes are already be set, so no need to touch it, and your vehicle already be in neutral. So that's be the first thing you do when you do a pre-trip inspection, which I might do one later. But next you're gonna say my hood mirrors, they're not cracked or broken. No, the mirror mounts, I'm gonna say they're not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. Then I'm gonna say my mirrors, my left mirror and my right mirror is not cracked or broken or chipped. It's clean and clear, securely mounted, and there's no missing hardware. All right, after you get your mirrors, you're gonna say your windshields. My windshields are not cracked or broken, clean and clear, securely mounted, no missing hardware, or no illegal stickers obstructing my view. Then you're gonna say my windshield wipers. They're not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. Then you're gonna say my windshield wiper blades. They're not worn, torn, frayed, or cut. They're securely mounted with the right tension to the windshield, and they're not dry rotting. All right. So next you want to talk about, I'll do the seal too. It's not worn, torn, frayed, or cut, or dry rotting. It's securely mounted to the windshield, and it's not missing any hardware. And then I'll do my left upper, my left and my right mirror. I'm gonna do it like this. I'll do left and right mirror. They're not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. Then I'm gonna do my mirrors. Both of my mirrors, my upper and lower left mirror, my upper, my lower right mirror. The bottom mirror is called a Corvex mirror. So my upper mirror and my lower Corvex mirror on my left, my upper mirror and my lower Corvex mirror on my right. They're not cracked or broken. They're clean and clear. They're securely mounted, and they have no missing hardware. But then they're adjusted to my preference. So when you do it, you will actually adjust the mirrors to your preference. So that's not hard to forget. Also, my windows. My windows are not cracked or broken or chipped. They're securely mounted, no missing hardware. They're clean and clear, and there's no illegal stickers obstructing my view. And then my windows, you're operational. You'll show that they go up and down. Everything you touch inside the cab is always operational. So after I get done my windows, next I will perform a safe start, because the wheel, it can lock, so it's not gonna really do it free. So I'm not gonna get into that until I do a safe start. So first thing you do a safe start is, this is a stick. So a safe start in this would be, put the clutch down. You'll get your hand on the brake, feet on the clutch. You'll keep your hand over the key, make sure your vehicle's in neutral, and then you'll start it. Boom. After you start it, so once it starts, you'll keep your hand over the ignition for 5 seconds, and keep your feet on the brake until your oil pressure gradually rise between 40 and 20 of pressure. It has to gradually rise. If it doesn't gradually rise, you will turn the engine off fast as you can, because that means that you're low on oil, and that's one of the main reasons that you can blow your engine. Next, you will make sure your ABS light comes on and off within 5 seconds. So in that 5 seconds, you keep your hand on ignition. First, you're checking your oil. You're gonna say my oil gradually rise from 20 to 40 air pressure, and then my ABS light came on and off. Once the ABS light come on and off, your oil gradually rise. Then you can move your hand from the ignition. That's called a safe start. If your ABS light stays on, that means you have a problem with your ABS system, your ABS brakes, and the vehicle's still operational, but it's the oil that you really want to worry about. The oil is like the number one thing. I know that brakes is very important for the Incab, but the ABS brake, the vehicle is still operational as long as you dot it in your trip inspection, and then you get it done, as you get it fixed as immediately as possible. But you have to dot it in your pre-trip inspection. Let them know that my ABS brakes are not working, and then you'll know how to drive the vehicle accordingly. You wouldn't depend on your ABS assistant. All right, so next, I'll make sure my air gauges are working, my primary and my secondary. I'll say they're operational. I'll say that they went up to 120, so 125 air pressure. That will make it operational. That means it's good once you reach there. Then I'll talk about my fuel. I'll say I have enough fuel to make it to the next fuel station or to my next destination. And then you'll say my fuel is working, it's operational. And then I think I forgot something for my I didn't talk about my fuses for my pre-trip inspection. You gotta make sure your fuses are in the glove compartment. I'm sorry. Yeah, your fire extinguisher first. The ABC fire extinguisher, the BC12. You gotta say it's not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. The pin is in place and it's fully charged and it's operational. Then you have to talk about you gotta say I have my fuses for all electrical components in the cab. We have enough fuses. They're securely mounted. They're not cracked or broken, and they're not missing any hardware. And then you also have to talk about your 3 reflector triangles, which is very important. You gotta have your 3 reflector triangles. They're not cracked, bent, or broken. They're securely mounted, and there's none missing. So no missing hardware. I just forgot to say that. I was talking about the fire extinguisher, but all right, back to what I was saying about so I was at my air pressure is between 120 and 125 psi. At this point, you'll make sure your water is between 170 and 210, and then you'll make sure your steering wheel is 20 inches around. You'll make sure that it have no more than 2 degrees of play. I mean, you only have to change your U-joints, maybe grease them up a little bit, or you just have to change your U-joints completely for your steering shaft. All right, next, from there, since I'm at my steering wheel is not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware, and it's no more than 2 degrees of play. Then I'll check my horn, my CD horn, then my air horn, and then next you'll check. You gotta check your voltmeter too. You gotta make sure you got between 12 and 14 volts in your voltmeter. So you'll find it whatever you got 12, 14 volts. You also got to mention that. All right, next I'm gonna start doing my windshield wipers. Which when I did the inspection, I should have checked it then, but since I'm here, I'm gonna do it all at one time. So you'll actually check your windshield wipers. You'll make them come on, make sure it's operational. The windshield wiper fluid, you'll make sure they come on, make sure it's operational. You'll turn on your turn signals. You'll go my right turn signal, and you'll tell them. Some instructors want you to get out. They want to get out so they can know that you turn on the right one and you can know to turn on the left one. They want to see you turn on your high beams, so you'll push this forward, turn on high beams, and you also will turn on your low beams, because in daytime you can either have it on automatic or you can have it off, but they want to see if you can turn it on and off. So they're going to check that. They're going to check your brake lights, and then they're going to check your 4-way flashers, and then you're probably going to have to turn on everything just to see if you can, see if it operates, I should say. All right, from there, after you check all your gauges and stuff, you make sure your steering wheel and everything's fine. You're gonna check your knobs. So I like to do them all together. I'll say my air supply, my trailer supply, and my tractor supply knob valves are not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. But you never touch them because they're already set from the first start of pre-trip inspection. If you touch them, that means you can fail because they should have already been set. Because before you start any pre-trip, you should always have the key in your pocket, your wheel chock, and your brakes already set. If I set my brakes right now, that means I failed. So you're gonna check this knob. You're gonna say my 3 knobs are not cracked, bent, or broken, securely mounted, no missing hardware. And at this point, you're gonna turn on your heat. You're gonna turn it on, and then you're gonna turn it on to my defrost. You're gonna say my defrost, which is the top, and my lower heat blowers, they're both working. You wanna put your hand down here, and you also wanna check it. All right. He's my video guy. Just put it on. So when the heat, this one defrost, that'll be all defrost. But if you put on this one, it makes sure the heat blows at the bottom. So this setting with the heat on top and the one on the bottom will get you past. But if you miss any one of these gauges or anything, it's not that bad. What you don't want to mess up is on the 4-step brake test, I should say. I'm sorry. The 4-step brake test is like an auto fail. It's like 35 points, and I think you only can get like 30 or something. But after you get done with that, you're gonna start. I already checked my flashes and everything. So at this point, I think I'm ready to start the 4-step brake test. So on a 4-step brake test, you're gonna turn your engine off. And also another thing, you gotta make sure nothing's up here like food or anything. Make sure it's clear from anything that can obstruct your view, and also make sure you don't have anything on the floor, which I do have my jacket, but make sure nothing on the floor that can stop you from braking or anything. So mention that, say my floor is clean and clear of any trash that can obstruct me from stopping my vehicle safely. So after you get to that, you're gonna start the 4-step brake test. So the 4-step brake test consists of engine off, because at this point the engine's gonna be on because you built up your air pressure. So you're gonna let the instructor know, don't do nothing without telling them. You're gonna say, engine off, I'm gonna turn my engine off, and I'm gonna turn my key on, and I'm gonna wait for my gauges to cycle. And once you turn it on, engine off, key on, if you don't turn it back on, that's an auto fail as well, because you can't do a brake test. The buzzer's not gonna go off. So first thing, engine off, key on. When the key's on, the first step of the 4-step brake test is pretty easy to do. You're gonna release both brake valves. So at this point, you have the permission to do it, and you're gonna tell them, I'm going to release both my brake valves. I'm not going to touch my feet on the brake or anything. I'm just going to release my brake valves. And at this point, after initial air loss, I should lose no more than 3 psi. So after I release both brake valves, after it's going to go from the governor, it's going to let out some air, and then it's going to stop and start going slow. That'll be the initial air loss. And then once it gets there, within 60 seconds, I shouldn't lose no more than 3 psi. So you will say, examiner, can you please time me? Even though they're timing you, I will count myself as well, because you always want to make them happy. So I will still count 1, 2, 3. Examiner, can you please time me?
60.
All right, examiner said it's 60. So now I'm going to go to my next step. I'm going to, what you're going to do on this point, you're going to apply 90 pounds of pressure to your brakes. If you don't have an air pressure gauge, if you have an air pressure gauge, you're going to apply 90 pounds of pressure, which I don't have one. So now that means you have to push it to the floor. And when you apply this 90 pounds of pressure, you're going to hold it. Also, when you press it to the floor, you're going to hold it. At this point, you shouldn't lose no more than 4 psi. So see, it's step 3, step 4. So you shouldn't lose no more than 4 psi. So at this point, you're going to hold it to the floor. And at this point, when it gets down to, I shouldn't lose no more than 60. I shouldn't lose no more than 4 psi in 60 seconds if I hold it down. So I'm going to hold it to the floor. And you're going to say, examiner, can you please time me? Because you don't want to really do nothing without them telling you to do it. And then you don't want to make it seem like you're just doing it just to try to see if they know. Because they know. They're trying to see if you know. They're testing you, and they're not testing the vehicle. They're trying to see what you know about the vehicle. So I'm going to hold it down for 60 seconds, pedal to the floor. Examiner, can you time me? So,
60.
All right, examiner said it's 60. So that's 60 seconds, right? So after that, I shouldn't lose no more than 4 psi after initial air loss. So the next one I'm going to do is you're going to fan your brakes until you get down to 60 psi. At this point, your warning signal buzzer should come on, and your light should come on. Your emergency light should come on. So at this point, you're going to go to your examiner. You're going to say, can I start? Because after you tell them what you're going to do, I'm going to fan my brakes to 60 psi. My warning signal should come on, and my warning light should come on. Examiner, can I start?
Yeah.
Very important. That's why we're really acting it out, because this is very important. So I fan my brakes. So, and light come on. So now I'm down to 60 psi. So at this point, I'm going to tell the examiner, I'm going to pump my brakes again until both brake valves pop out. Not one brake valve, not one. Both of them have to pop out. So if both brake valves don't pop out and one of them gets stuck, you're going to keep fanning to 0. And if it don't pop out, at this point, you would ask the examiner, can I restart my brake test, because I might have an air leak in my line or something might not be right. And at that point, they should allow you to redo it, because it's not your fault if the valve gets stuck. So I'm going to fan my brakes. I'm going to brake it. Pop, pop. They both pop out. So now I have passed. Well, if you get to this point, you're going to ask them, after that part, you're going to say, is it okay for me to start my tug test? And if they say yes, that means you're doing a great job. So they're going to say yes. Now you're going to say, it's okay for me to do a safe start. And it's because every time you turn the engine off and you turn it on, you have to do a safe start. So you're going to say, is it okay for me to do a safe start to build my primary and secondary air gauges up so I can do my pull test? They're gonna say yes. So you're gonna start the engine. It's gonna take a while to make the buzzer go off. It's still gonna be buzzing. So you're gonna ask them, can I give it a little gas with my vehicle in neutral to make my RPMs go up to at least 10 to build up my air pressure? They're probably gonna say yes because they're gonna be aggravated from the buzzing. So you're gonna hold it down to like 10 RPM, and at 10 RPM you're gonna see that your RPM gauges are gonna move. So at this point you will say, okay, my RPM gauges are working fine, and at that point you check your RPM gauge. All right. So next, after your air pressure builds up to 120 to 125, which is the operational range of the air pressure, you're gonna ask your examiner, is it okay for me to put my gear? It depends on what slope you're on. You're gonna say, is it okay for me to put it in drive or reverse to take the tension off of your brake? You're gonna ask them everything. So they're gonna say yes. So you're gonna put it in. Put your feet over the brake. You're gonna put it in reverse or drive. You're gonna back up a little bit. After that, you're gonna stop. You're gonna reset your brakes. And put it back in neutral. And you're gonna tell them, when I exit my vehicle, would you like for me to take my key or can I leave it in there? If they're having a bad day, they're probably gonna make you take the key, follow every rule. But sometimes they'll say it's okay for you to get out. You can leave it running. So you're gonna get out. You're gonna securely get out with 3 points of contact. You're gonna securely chalk your thing in your side storage on your truck, your truck, and then you're gonna get back in with 3 points of contact. Re-put your seatbelt back on. If they made you turn it off, at this point you're gonna do another safe start. Every time you turn it off and turn it on, you always do a safe start. You always make sure your oil pressure gradually rises, and you always make sure all your gauges are cycling. And you always make sure your ABS light come on and off. You always do a safe start every time. So you're going to explain to them about your safe start, what you're doing, and then you're going to stop. You're going to wait. So now you have enough air pressure. It's okay if you do the torque test because you remove the chalk, but you don't just do it. You're going to tell them. You're going to say, I'm going to release my track. You're going to say I'm going to release my trailer and I'm going to keep my tractor brakes pulled. I'm gonna release my trailer and keep my tractor brakes pulled. And at this point, you're gonna give it a little gas. It should tug. Boom. Then you're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna release my tractor brakes and I'm gonna leave my trailer brakes pulled out. So now you're gonna tuck the trailer. I always tuck the vehicle first because that's kind of what stop you. So I'm gonna tuck my trailer. It's gonna not go nowhere. So then you're gonna set both your brakes. You're gonna explain to your examiner, I'm gonna move 15 feet and go 5 miles per hour. Reach 5 miles per hour within 15 feet. And at this time, you apply your pressure to your brakes, and you should start gradually. Don't slam on brakes. And at that point, you're gonna release both your brakes. They're gonna say, yeah, you're gonna release both brakes. You're gonna pull up 15 feet at 5 miles per hour. And once you reach 5 miles per hour, you're gonna, as you're applying your brakes, you're gonna say, okay, I see that my speed gauges are operational. So you're gonna apply the brakes, and you stop. If the examiner says, good job, well, you're gonna ask them, can you back up to get back into the safe position? If they say yes, that means you pass. If not, just try it again, rewatch this video. That's all for you, man. Thank you for watching, and yeah, thanks. I'm giving you